at using ethanol, fuel with ethanol in it. So we get a whole lot of small engines, classic cars, high performance cars, and things like that. The store itself is a bit of everything, kind of an old school mercantile store. We have automotive supplies, horse tack, equine supplies, pet food and pet supplies, bird feeders, food, work and western wear, hardware, and we have a lawn and garden department managed by a certified professional horticulturist. And of course, we sell horse and livestock food, including literally tons of hay, which we also deliver. During the pandemic, we launched a will call system along with an online presence at shopgrangesupply.com. Last fiscal year, even though we've been here since 1934, we had our strongest year ever. We did 10.6 million in sales. Half of that's fuel, partially because fuel's open 24/7. Half of the other half is feed, and the rest is all the stuff that we sell out of the store. The Grange slogan is for the farmer in all of us, which was a phrase I uttered while I was being interviewed for the job. I simply was asked why I thought I would be able to run the Grange. I suppose it was probably worded better than that. And I said, well, I don't know. I really think there's a farmer in all of us. There's farmer in all of our cultures. There's farmers in all of our civilizations. No matter what we do for a living, when we go to the produce market, we are going to smell and we're going to squeeze and we're going to be farmers. So I think we need to touch that part that's in all of us. As a matter of fact, when the Highlands did, not Highlands, but Klahani did an article on us, we discovered that Klahani was about 39% Asian and Indian. So we translated for the farmer in all of us into Hindi and Chinese so that we could reach out to new folks. Next week, we're slowly beginning back to a store remodel that we started quite a while back. We're gonna knock out some walls and create a permanent will call internet area. I've been with the Grange here for 4 years in September. During that time, we've raised the starting wage from $12 an hour to $17 an hour. The other big move we've made in this past 3 years is we replaced our marketing budget almost entirely with a philanthropy budget. And we do this because it's nice and because it's deductible and because it's compelling. The logic is actually in the age of Amazon, compelling is one of the few avenues you can use to grow a business. So we rarely say no to any school or church or club who comes to us for support. I mean, I actually want to feel people, I want to feel people to feel bad about themselves because they didn't shop here when they could have. And of course, we reserve all of our donations for categorically adjacent businesses. We have a nonprofit called SAFE that rescues horses that gets a big chunk of our money every year. We also have a really large community room, and y'all should know this because it's free and it's open, and you can put 70 people in there, and it gets used a lot by the categorically adjacent groups, but also AA is in there. Scouts groups meet there, and it's free. We have classes there all year, but we don't have classes in there right now because of the distancing. And I guess finally, none of our success happened without my team, and I don't have a really busy job. I just have a bunch of busy people around me, so it's great. And I would have to mention to you all, Michelle Banks is my operations manager. She's been here 18 years, and she runs the joint. There's just no other way around it. So. Heck, in a nutshell, I guess that's the Grange. This year we've gotten involved, these last 3 years, we've gotten much more involved in the community. I think when I got here, everybody knew who we were and what we did, and that was just a fallacy that we'd all decided to buy in on. And so, hence we have a whole bunch of given away. And that's 5 minutes. So thanks for hearing us out. We're glad to sponsor the event.
That's great, John. Thank you, John. The Grange is one of my favorite places to go shopping for gifts. And so if anyone ever needs something to buy, there is a farm in all of us, and there's truly a gift for everyone at your store. So it's a fun place to go gift shopping as well.
Thanks.
And next I want to move into our introduction of our business spotlight presenters. So our first spotlight presenter is Nyman. She is the communications manager at Highlands Council, and she's also a really fun person to hang out with. I hope you bike riding with her someday soon. So Nina, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi there, Brenda. Thanks a lot. Can everybody hear me? Okay,
Yep.
got some nods. Great, thanks. I want to thank the Chamber for this opportunity for me to speak at the Sustainability Expo. It's a perfect fit for us. Issaquah Highlands owns the trademark Living Green, and it does so for very strong and legitimate reasons. We were built from the ground up, beginning in the late 1990s with award-winning environmentally sustainable designs. It's locally sourced materials, strict waste management. Our landscaping and irrigation and stormwater practices are based in our governing documents with those same principles. And these documents now guide our future with sustainable business and operations. These operations are not only valuable to the planet, but they're also cost-saving and positive branding for us as an organization. As the slide tells you, there are several ways in which we live this living green mantra. Every home in Issaquah Highlands is built green. The ones that are being built now also. All buildings in the commercial sector are built to LEED Silver or better standards. Our homeowners association follows homeowner and landscape standards that are living green, saving us money and the environment. And Highlands Council, where I work, implements the Living Green trademark through educational events, online guides and workshops, and InterConnection's news, where I'm the editor. There we have sustainability as one of our main topic areas, and where resident volunteer writer Aline Block provides monthly columns about living green at home. She also creates events and workshops when we're able to get our people together. As most of you know, John at the Grange included, Connections News provides affordable opportunities for marketing and outreach. I'm really proud and glad that John chose us to help in his outreach for our farmers and all of us. And as our title of the newspaper describes, it is called Connections News for a reason. It's about connections and relationships that are built over time. So when somebody like John comes to me or another advertiser who would like to use Connections News, I tell them, go with the ad size that you can go the longest time, because we want to build relationships and let people get to know you. Issaquah Highlands is well known as a place and a community that's committed to sustainability. Living Green, we are a living green community. It's part of our brand and part of our identity. Brenda's going to distribute this slide after the event with the links that go with it. So if you want to learn more, you can follow the links from the slide, or you can contact me anytime. My contact information is at issaquahhighlands.com. I'm happy to tell you more about it. So thanks again. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Nina. How are your this year? You have so many community gardens. That's another way I think that you're green, and I love to drive by and see people working in those.
Absolutely. I could only list a few on one slide. There are so many ways that the founding of our organization and our community have manifest. I could talk all day, so please come up, let's go for a walk and we could talk about it. But we have 140 garden patches, and that is indeed one way.
And I know we have some Seattleites on the call today, so if you need a really nice place to go hiking, the Highlands is also blessed with many great outdoor trails. So thank you so much, Nina. Okay, next we have Cheryl Rowe, who is president with InterConnection. And InterConnection and I have a long-standing relationship. Back when I worked at Recology, I discovered these folks as a place to recycle pretty much everything electronic that was attached with a cord. And you might recall in Recology Salmon Village, we had a really robust collection program for people to bring in all things electronic. So that's my InterConnection. There was a bridge built to the Highlands. We did in your large garage sale, community-wide garage sale, Nina, we had InterConnection bring a truck up there, if you recall, and they filled that truck that day with things from your residents. So we are welcoming Cheryl to our green family here and want to hear what she has to say, what's happening with InterConnection.
Great. Thank you so much, Brenda. And I'm going to be joined by my colleague, Lily. She's going to follow me in my very short, brief presentation. So thank you for, inviting us to join you today. We are part of that Seattle Lights group. It's really cool to hear about the other organizations so far. And as you said, I'm the president of InterConnection, and I don't know how many people are familiar with InterConnection, but myself, I joined in September of last year, and I'd driven by InterConnection, and I knew it was here, but I didn't really know what we did, or I knew you could drop off computers. That was the extent of my knowledge. But so I look at it as kind of one of the best kept secrets. So InterConnection is a nonprofit, but we are organized. We operate as a social enterprise. We have 3 bottom lines. So obviously we're driven by our mission. So we have a social bottom line, a financial bottom line, because so we are really interested in generating revenue to put back into the business to fuel our mission. And then we have a green bottom line. So to put that into context, in 2018, we prevented over 1 million pounds of electronic waste from going into the landfill. Last year, it was about 850,000 pounds. We're still refining those numbers, but it looks like about 848,000 pounds. And that doesn't necessarily mean we collected less, but it just means we reused more. So we talk about the 3 R's here at InterConnection: reuse, repair, recycle. And for us, it's really about, like, there's more R's. So reuse first always, because our mission is to put technology in the hands of, underserved populations throughout the Puget Sound region. And the way we do that is through refurbishment. We are Microsoft registered refurbisher. We are also we were the first nonprofit in the country to be R2 certified, which means that we are responsibly recycling and repairing electronics. There's a lot of requirements to go along with that. Also, that includes ISO 14001 accreditation. So we're very proud of that, because it means we are following the highest standards in terms of responsible recycling and reuse. But reclamation, obviously, and when we do recycle, things do not go to the landfill. They go to a downstream vendor supply chain that is also R2 certified. So all components are responsibly recycled. But we really strive for reuse first, because again, our mission is to bridge the digital divide, and that happens by offering affordable technology to underserved communities, and not just here in Puget Sound, but across the United States. And we also have a global impact, because we grant computers to nonprofits who are doing work globally. So we've had devices that reach other countries and help serve a need there too as well. I know I'm forgetting something, but I think that in terms of what we could do to support businesses in Issaquah is we offer free local pickup. And I would just encourage all businesses that are participating today to think about InterConnection when you're going to refresh your technology, or you want to make sure that what you do recycle, it's getting handled properly. And I think that Lily, who is on the line, can speak to how we do that, how we cultivate and develop our, our donor channels, our partner channels. But I would just like you to think about us when you're thinking about electronics, and don't do what my brother-in-law told me he did, which is put an old Mac in the garbage. I was mortified. That happened when I first started here. I'm like, what? Which I'm sure none of you would do, because you're all promoting sustainability in your efforts, I'm sure, every day. So, but thank you again for having us. We're really glad to, reconnect with Brenda and connect with the chamber. And we're excited to see if we can, maybe help support all of you in your efforts to recycle electronics, and maybe even those can turn into, technology that is put in the hands of people that need it. And that is, everything that's going on right now. COVID-19 didn't create the digital divide, but it has shined a very bright light on that, and it's real. So, a device is only as good as, you have to be connected, one, and then you need to know how to use the device. So we're really working on bridging digital literacy as well. That's part of our mission. So I think that's like my little elevator pitch. I think I took longer than a minute, probably. And, but I would like Lily to talk about our collection activities. So Lily, I'm sure you can unmute and speak, and I will silence myself.
Yeah, so right now with COVID, we're doing collection events at our facility. So it's open to the public and companies. They can drop off their electronics there. Usually we're open, not in these circumstances, to just have the dock ready, available for anyone to walk up and drop off their donations. If they want certificates of data destruction, if they want detailed reports, they can absolutely ask for that and get those. And we provide those, of course, for companies too. So as I'm the one who is, communicating with these companies from around Washington State and sometimes in other states as well, we're making sure that not only is your data taken care of, it's destroyed, everything, and we're in the R2 certification, but we're also providing those detailed audit reports, those detailed hard drive reports that let you know everything was destroyed properly and everything was recycled. You can see on the reports where your electronics went and if the hard drives were wiped or shredded or anything like that. So we provide a lot of detail, which I'm always happy to make sure companies are getting what they need. And yeah, I'm the person that you can contact and set up a pickup with, and we'll send our truck or our van out. And I have a whole procedure that we can go through and make sure that all your needs are met. And same with us, because especially in COVID, we're trying to minimize our exposure, working with our donors right now to get pictures of their donations to confirm that everything is set up properly and to limit our time in the building so that we're staying as safe as possible. And of course, masks and social distancing and all that. So we're so happy to be able to provide the service for, especially reconnecting with Issaquah. It would be great to, help you guys out and recycle and reuse your electronics like they should be.
That's fantastic, Lily. And I just want to add too that InterConnection, in conjunction with this event, when we were going to person, was offering to do a collection for all of our local businesses. So that will be happening in the future. We will let you know when that's going to be. But we appreciate that opportunity, and also the opportunity that you're offering, and that's to come out to a business and do a pickup. So that's great. Well, thank you so much. Next, we are going to introduce Brooke Sprusma. She's Waste Zero Specialist from Recology. And Brooke, your slide's already up, so take it away.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay. I am a Waste Zero Specialist at Recology King County. And for those of you who don't know who Recology is, we are Issaquah's local garbage, recycling, and compost collection provider. At Recology, we have a mission for a world without waste, and the way that we strive for this world without waste is by investing in recycling and composting technologies, and also by educating the communities in which we serve. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about best management practices at the office, your office building, and within those steps, I will also provide the resources and the education and outreach that Recology can provide to your business. So the first step is education. So by providing waste reduction related workshops, lunch and learns, and presentations for your employees, everyone will be on the same page and get to hear that same message. And at Recology, we actually do offer free presentations for businesses. We can conduct all of our education virtually now as well. So we can send a pre-recorded presentation, we can do virtual technical assistance or a virtual live presentation like this as well for different businesses and your employees. The second step is bin placement. So the placement of each type of bin is very important. So if you place the garbage bin closest to the exit or the door, and then the recycle and then the compost, this will make recycling and composting slightly less convenient. So the user really has to think about where they're placing their waste. And this helps with reducing contamination. The next step is providing signage for all bins. So placing the signage at eye level. Recology does have signage available for everyone in Issaquah. You can download it on our website, or you can give our customer service a call or reach out to me, and we can mail you signage. So we have posters, we have stickers, we have decals, we have lots of different signage for all types of bins. And then the next step is co-location of bins. So be sure that you place all 3 bins together. So the garbage, the recycle, and the compost all in the same location, so that they're easy and convenient. And to even go a step further than just co-locating your bins is thinking about removing everyone's individual bins that they have at their workspace or their desk space, and creating a singular location for just those 3 bins. So you actually have to get up and walk to that location and decide where your waste goes. So all of these steps help reduce waste and contamination in office spaces. So again, Recology provides free presentations, technical assistance, site visits, visual waste audits, signage, all free to businesses within Issaquah. Thank you.
Excellent, Brooke. I want to tell you that we just took advantage of that at the chamber not too long ago, and we are completely set up the way you just described. So hopefully we're diverting some waste in that way, but thank you so much for those resources. Okay, we're going to move on to our panelists. And did anyone have any questions for our Expo folks before we do that? We will also have questions at the end. So, okay, I'm going to move on here. Oh, yes, Nina, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question about Recology. Since the Recology store is closed, which we love for our recycling, where do we take our difficult to recycle things like styrofoam while the store is closed?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our store in Gilman Village is currently closed right now. I don't have a date of when it will reopen, just because we're trying to keep our employees as safe as possible, because that is a drop-off site. So our employees are handling all of those items. The best place to take styrofoam would be Trex Recycling, or sorry, Styrocycle, which is actually in Kent, and they have a drop-off location.
Excellent, thank you. Yes, we missed the store. I hope it's back soon. Okay, I want to move into our panelist introductions. And first I'd like to introduce Megan Curtis Murphy. Megan has served the city of Issaquah as a sustainability coordinator for 6 years. She develops and implements programs and policies within the city and community to advance sustainability and to achieve the community's interrelated environmental, economic, and socially sustainable goals. Megan holds a master's degree in public administration from the Evans School of Public Policy and Governance at the University of Washington. Prior to moving to Washington, Megan was the membership director at the Environmental Business Council of New England and received her BA in political science from Tufts University in Boston, Massachusetts. Megan and I have had the pleasure of working together on many projects. Most memorable, I think, is the bike rodeo, Megan. We fit hundreds of kids with helmets. So we're very happy to have you here. So go ahead and tell us what's going on with the city.
Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me here today. We've been partnering a lot with the Chamber on a lot of efforts, especially as you guys have been adapting so well to everything going on with the global pandemic and everything else. So thanks again. I have one update to my bio in that I've been with the city for 6 years and 2 days now. So just had my 5th year.
Congratulations.
But yeah, so we talked a little bit about the Office of Sustainability. So yeah, we develop and implement projects, programs, and policies within the city to improve the sustainability, both within our city operations and also within the community as well. So as many people know, the city has about 250 employees and about 40,000 residents, lots of businesses, and we recently did a citywide strategic planning effort a couple of years back, and we did a lot of engagement and really heard from the community that the environment is something that they want the city to be focusing on. It's something that's valued by the residents. It's something that they want to see action on. So that was great to hear, and I think important for businesses to recognize as well, because your customers are going to be interested in seeing what you're doing to reduce your impact on the environment. Along those lines, we also have an environment and sustainability board that we are working on creating. We just had a couple public meetings to get input from the community about what they want to see the board's kind of purpose do and what they're working on. So we're going to be moving that through the council process soon and have that up and running later this year. So we're excited about that, and we'll let the chamber know when we're doing recruiting for that as well, in case there's any business representatives that would be interested in that. So as I was mentioning, we do take sustainability really serious of the city, and also our impact on the environment and specifically climate. So the city does have a community-wide climate goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions 50% by 2030 and 80% by 2050. So this is something that we are doing a lot of action on now. We have a community convening on climate coming up at this month, and actually 10 days, this on the slide there, July 20th and 30th, where we're going to be bringing together community members, businesses, and some topical experts to start to address how we can provide some recommendations both to the city and then also kind of community leaders to begin to address climate change. So I'd love for anyone who's interested in that to come. You can come virtually, of course, in this new day and age. So it will actually be a two-part webinar series. And in that first series on July 20th, we're going to be providing a bit of a foundation of what the city's already done and what's happening both locally and regionally. And then also on the 30th, we're going to get into more discussion and recommendations. So my contact information is on the slide, so feel free to reach out to me or just go to that link once you have it and register for that. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of the sustainability programs that we do have in the city. It's just a small sample, but just quickly with an example of what the city is doing on this as far as our operations, and then a program that we have out in the community. So we have several waste reduction policies and practices. I think one way that we are working on this in the city is that we a couple of years ago started composting paper towels in-house. We rolled that out to be just the internal city parts first, and then provide it in all of our community facilities as well. So that's something we're doing to reduce waste. In the community, as I'm sure many people are familiar with, we have a ban on plastic bags in the city to reduce that waste. And then we also require compostable and recyclable food service packaging items. The next one is our Salmon Friendly Trips program. So this is encouraging people to reduce their drive alone trips. Instead, take a salmon friendly trip, because we are Issaquah, and transportation or vehicles have an impact on the environment and our salmon with the runoff going into the water. So that's why we named the program that. And something we're doing for this in the city is that we offer free Orca cards to employees to encourage them to take public transportation or jump in a van pool, because public transportation isn't always an option for some people in the city. On the community side for this, we have done various programs in the past. One recently was our business outreach program, where we partnered with many businesses to offer a passport program for residents. So if a resident came to, say, a coffee shop or a bike shop, and they could get a stamp on their passport as long as they took a salmon-friendly trip there, so if they walked or biked, and then they'd be entered into a raffle. Last, we have our sustainable building program. So in the city, we require all municipal projects to be built to LEED requirements. And then in the community, to help encourage more green building, It's great that the Highlands has the built green, but we don't have that across the whole city. So we provide technical assistance consultations to various development projects. And on the slide here, you'll see a picture of our Z Home building, which is in the Highlands, and that is built green Emerald Star. So it's the first zero net energy townhome complex in the country. So that's something it was great to work with the Highlands on doing. And we also have the Recology truck fleet, because they are also another really important partner in our waste reduction efforts, as you heard about.
Excellent. So much good happening there. Thank you so much, Megan. Appreciate that. Okay, our next panelist I want to introduce is Amber Nicholson. Amber is Director of Sustainability with Bellevue College. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you. Yes, so sorry for the little bit of an overwhelming slide. I was just too excited to share with you all the fantastic waste programming that we've been working on. There's lots of pictures there for you to take a look at. So a little bit about Bellevue College. We have about 30,000 students, and we are the third largest higher ed institution in Washington State. The Office of Sustainability was established in 2012. I've been with them since 2015, and in my current position as director since 2017. So what we do is we work on energy, waste, water, alternative transportation, greenhouse gas emissions, student engagement, curriculum, and climate justice projects. So what I focused on this slide was a lot to do with our waste, because that was some of the theme of this panel today. And so I'll explain to you some of what we've been trying to do. Starting with bins. We did focus a lot on centralizing and standardizing our bins, similar to what Recology was talking about, with coloring and making sure that the three are grouped together: compost, recycling, and landfill. So for green, we choose compost. For blue, we do recycling, and black or gray is usually a landfill bin. So we do try to centralize those into and standardize locations and look of those. We have updated our signage in the last year. And as well, we are doing a mini-max program for some office spaces, and that's new for this year. So what that is we are trying to minimize waste and maximize recycling and compost. And so users can manage their own bins. So at your office desk, you'll have this small central of bins, and you have to walk that over to the bigger bins yourself. So the custodians are not managing your small office side bins. You have to manage that. We also have, under the data capture section, Evo Eco Smart Bins. And so what these are interactive systems that show users how to sort their waste. And that's the second image down under data capture. And so digital video captures the attention and shows users exact items in the waste stream. So when you throw an item in, the user can see, hey, maybe that wasn't supposed to be put into the compost based on the weight or based on what the sensors are reading. So the on-screen messages educate and motivate users every time about how to sort their waste. We also have started this year Lean Path Pre-Consumer Waste Data Capture, and this was a partnership with King County. And so they provided us a bit of a stipend to put in these Lean Path machines, which are pre-consumer waste in the cafeteria, and we can weigh and capture data on food from food prep and uneaten food in the cafeteria. Moving on to trainings, we do conduct trainings often throughout the year with our students and our staff. We do one called Avoiding Wish Cycling, and what wish cycling is, in case you don't know, is also known as aspirational recycling, and when you put something into the recycling bin without really checking whether or not it's recyclable. And so people want to just put something in there and go, oh, I hope it'll get recycled, but you're not entirely sure if it's going to. So we do these avoiding wish cycling trainings for both faculty and staff and specific departments if requested to do so, on professional development days and student housing orientation, and hopefully online coming soon. Some of the other unique things that we've done are some of our waste diversion programs. We do a cigarette recycling program through TerraCycle. So our grounds crew collects our cigarettes and recycles them through TerraCycle to be turned into things like pallets and park benches. We also have a PPE recycling program with Kimberly-Clark. It's called Right Cycle. And so they'll collect nitrile gloves and again, recycle those into new viable products. I do believe that they also have other PPE programs that they run, but we just do the nitrile gloves at the moment. And then lastly, we have been doing paper towel composting in a few of our buildings, including North Campus and our student housing building. And that's been more of a pilot trial run type program to see how that's been going, but it's been running at North Campus for a couple of years and it's been very successful. We also have some partnerships that we that we run. So we do have a grant-based partnership with the city of Bellevue to help us improve our waste reduction and education. And so they work a lot with us in our student housing orientations and trying to get the students in student housing to recycle properly and compost properly. And then we also do a Fix It Fair partnership with King County. I know Tom's on this call as well. So we always appreciate that partnership with Tom to bring in the Fix It Fair wonderful volunteers to come to campus and help us repair items and keep them out of landfill. And then lastly, we do run a variety of events for our campus. We do a waste audit annually. So we pile all the garbage in the middle of one of the campus corridors, as you can see in the top left picture. We have students dig through it, sort it, weigh it, categorize it. They don't love it at first, but they do by the end. They get excited to see that you'll find that most of what is in the trash is actually not trash. It's compostables and recyclables. And you can see that in the bottom right corner there. And we do donation programs on campus, and we do Cedar Grove workshops. So we do a lot of training and event style stuff as well. And I know InterConnection's on the call. We also have an annual InterConnection waste pickup with them. We bring the box to campus, and we have students and staff bring in items from home to get recycled properly. And that's kind of the waste programming in a nutshell. You can see all the links there if you'd like to reach out for more information.
Excellent, Amber. That's so many amazing ideas. And it sounds like paper towel composting is a theme, and that's something I think that everybody can do. So great to see it on your campus in that scale. And I want to welcome Kathy Lambert to the call. I saw Kathy just pop in.
Hello. Hi, Kathy.
Okay, next I want to do, hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
We're good. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. I put in the chat room that I have been to several of these events, and they have fixed my very favorite suitcase. And the lady who did it was a Microsoft genius, and she devised a whole new pulley system and went out on her own dime. I tried to pay her for it. She wouldn't let me. Went down the store, got the parts that she needed, and redesigned it after I'd had my husband and 2 sons tell me it's not repairable. I don't care if it's your favorite. It's not repairable. And I came home with it repaired. And she told me it cost less than $1. So it was wonderful.
Good for you.
Very pleased. So I love this. I have my pile for my repair days. So I'm glad that we have these events. Thank you.
That's a great story of diversion. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being here today. Okay, I want to introduce Tom Watson, Project Manager of King County Recycling and Environmental Services. I met Tom back when I was
hello.
Recology, and it's so great to see you, Tom. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Kathy, it's great to see you, Kathy Lambert, city or county council member for this area, is a fan of our repair events, and she's talking about the, I believe the repair event she attended at the Carnation Community Center. Is the sound okay?
I don't know. Please take that off if it is from a deputy. Okay. Yeah.
Kathy,
please.
can you please, or whoever's talking.
Hold on.
Okay. Kathy, can you hear me okay? Okay. I'll go ahead. Kathy was referring to one of our repair events at Carnation last year, and the one of our fixers who she was talking about, Diana, is actually an Issaquah resident, and so that was great that she was able to fix Kathy's item. I really want to talk about, well, I'll talk about the repair events a little bit and talk about what I do with King County. But first I want to say, and I made some notes here, and I'm going to read these just to be concise, read some of them. But as far as waste reduction for businesses, which is the main focus today, my main message, and this is my personal perspective, is that right now, any business waste reduction or sustainability efforts that your business starts or continues, even environmentally focused businesses like many of the folks on this call, any of those efforts need to be balanced with the 2 dominating forces in everyone's lives right now. And those are the pandemic, of course, that we've talked about it a little bit, including its social and economic impacts, and the social justice upheaval and awareness since the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis a few weeks ago. Those are what are driving everything, and it's going to change a lot of what we do about sustainability and waste reduction. And because you and your businesses have to be so focused on keeping your business alive right now, which is so hard with the economic impacts of the virus, and keeping your customers and employees safe and healthy, waste reduction might need to take a back seat for a year or two. And we're still going to give you some helpful ideas today, though, for whenever you're ready. But just to, I really want to keep reminding myself and reminding others of the impact that the virus is having in King County, because I think there's a tendency to just say, well, we're going to try to get through it and we'll get back to normal soon. So I wanted to give a summary. A quick update. There is a King County website that has daily statistics on COVID-19. And so as of today, as of this morning, the King County residents' deaths due to COVID-19 illness, as of today, 598. So it's about 600 people have died. Many of those were elderly, but they died sooner than they should have, 600. And 1,643 hospitalizations due to COVID-19 illness. And then on this website, and you can search it, you could like search King County COVID summary and find this, they call it, I think, a dashboard, and have the daily stats. And then also in the stats, you can go by city. So for Issaquah residents, as of today, there have been 35 deaths due to COVID-19 and 47 hospitalizations. In Bellevue, 34 deaths and 91 hospitalizations. I just wanted to, I feel like it's important to keep remembering what the priorities need to be, and I feel like Councilmember Lambert is focused on those, and many King County elected officials and others are really working on these things. So I will get into my description. I've been with King County Solid Waste Division for 28 years in the Recycling and Environmental Services section. Currently, my main job is managing the Eco-Consumer Public Outreach Program, which includes some media outreach, such as TV and radio and articles. But the past 4 years, the main activity has been our free community repair events program. Over the past 4 years, we've held 65 of these repair events all over King County outside Seattle. Kathy has been to 2 or 3 of them. We've had one repair event in Issaquah so far in 2017 at the Issaquah Library, and we had another one scheduled for April this year, also at the Issaquah Library, but it had to be postponed indefinitely, like everything else. And these 3-hour events are held at libraries and community centers, and anyone can bring any kinds of small items, lamps, chairs, toasters, anything, for repair. And we also mend clothing. Our crew of skilled fixers and sewers, who are all incentivized volunteers, we give them a small stipend because they're using their own tools and sewing machines. They are able to fix and mend more than 70% of the items. And I think we're maybe two or three for 3 with Kathy's items that she's brought in at Redmond and Carnation. We usually work on 50 to 100 items at each event. Program partners include, with the repair events program, include the King County Library System, King County Parks, many King County cities, and many nonprofit organizations. One Eastside partner is the Little Masters Club, a major Chinese American youth and families organization based on the East Side. That photo on the slide right there shows the father and son team of fixers from the Little Masters Club, a father and son team from the Little Masters Club, Henry and Evan, at a repair event at the Bellevue Library last year. And you can tell they're a father and a son because their hair sticks up in the back the same way. I think that's a great photo. And students like Evan have repair skills from being on high school robotics teams. And we also have another partnership with the South King County-based high school robotics team. That's one of my ideas for businesses today. Consider partnerships with organizations like the Little Masters Club, or like another organization based on the East Side, which we're working with once we get the repair events going. Again, that other organization is the India Association of Western Washington, serving Indian Americans. These kind of groups have hundreds, even thousands of members, hundreds of families, members, and they're super active in the community. The Little Masters Club, for example, has done amazing stuff on COVID-19 to help the community and help hospitals, and you could check with that. And I'm going to end with, related to this, some recent demographic data from King County shows that in East King County, and that includes the cities of Issaquah, Sammamish, Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, Newcastle, and Mercer Island. In that area, 6.7% of residents speak Chinese, a Chinese language like Mandarin, and more than 5% of residents of East King County speak an Indian language, such as Hindi or Tamil. And so I just wanted to emphasize the importance of working with those communities, some of those communities on the East Side, especially the different Chinese and Indian communities, the importance for businesses and government to help support those, since they have a large segment of the population. I feel that what I've seen from Kathy Lambert at our repair events, that is a strong focus of hers reaching out to those communities. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom. That's great information. Okay, we're ready for our panelist questions. So our panelists, Megan, Amber, and Tom, I'm going to direct questions your way. And whoever would like to start answering, just go ahead and let's just go for it and see how it goes here. So the first question is, what are some of the positive results a business can expect from implementing waste reduction best practices? Who would like to start?
I can go ahead and start.
Thanks,
Issaquah here. So I think one of the big things is, of course, the potential to save money, which is always important in the business world. So in Issaquah, garbage prices are directly correlated with how much you generate, and then the recycling rates are embedded. So the more that you're able to implement waste reduction practices or divert materials to be composted or recycled, the more you can potentially save. And I know some businesses have taken opportunities to kind of downsize or reduce the number of pickups during the past several months. So that's kind of a way you can see that if you're generating less, you're able to save money. And the city also, as Brooke was talking about, offers programs with Recology to provide some free technical assistance. So that's really a great way to demonstrate to the public your commitment to the environment by making sure you have that proper signage. The city also has some free bins that we can provide, recycling compost bins for businesses that are interested in participating in these technical assistant programs. So we really want to make sure that it's easy for both back of house for you to be implementing these waste reduction practices to save money, and then also front of house to have all of that proper signage and everything ready for your customers so that they know that you're committed to the environment, as we've talked about being one of the main values in Issaquah.
Excellent. Anything else to add from our other panelists? Okay, let's move on to question number 2 then. What examples have you seen where businesses have engaged staff around reducing their carbon footprint to support sustainability goals? And were there incentives offered to staff to support efforts in this direction? Who would like to start?
Well, I can start. So we're not doing this at Bellevue College, but I have seen other organizations doing this, specifically around reducing carbon footprint or carbon emissions. Seattle Children's Hospital has incentivized employees to not park on their facility property. So they do pay them a daily payment when they opt not to drive in to work that day. So I think that's a really unique way to both reduce your impact and as well as to encourage your employees to participate or not participate in the program.
It's a great idea. Anything else to add from our other panelists? Tom, Megan? Oh, Tom, you're muted. You're muted, Tom. There we go.
One example, I have a few examples, and one that I heard on NPR just this morning is that Kids Quest Children's Museum in Bellevue is partnering with food banks to pass out free remote educational kits to families without internet access. And so I thought that was a great one. I really feel like this is a time to reinvent the way you're doing business and tie in sustainability with equity and inclusion and with cost savings and with health and safety related to the pandemic. And so that might actually require putting a hold on some sustainability practices, which some businesses have had to do. For example, businesses may not want to promote the use of reusable tote bags or reusable cups for at least 2 years, just because of health requirements or perceptions. So a major business, like a major business doesn't even describe them, but an example of a corporation reinventing something related to sustainability is Amazon buying the naming rights to the new Seattle Pro Hockey Arena, the renovated Key Arena at Seattle Center, and they are calling it Climate Pledge Arena. So that's a reinvention of the stadium naming concept, bringing attention to sustainability. And if you do something like that, you need to back it up, right? So Amazon is going to have to really go be part of that climate pledge that they're talking about. Another attempt to do this, another example of an attempt to do this, in my organization, King County Department of Natural Resources and Parks, or DNRP, 800 currently telecommuting employees, including myself, were recently told that instead of eventually returning to work in our county building in downtown Seattle, we will instead be working from home permanently, not just during quarantine.
Wow.
And so that has a domino effect on the county, and it's affecting all those employees and the families, and it's going to work well for some employees. But there are a lot of concerns about that, but it's being promoted as an environmental measure, and it certainly could have environmental effects, but the other effects really have to be taken into account. That's part of my message today too. We found out yesterday from the department management that the county is bringing in an organizational change management expert from a company called PSB, and they're a global consulting firm whose Seattle area office is in Bellevue. So that was interesting too. So those are some of my examples.
Just one more thing that comes to mind just one more thing that comes to mind for me thinking about King County and the ways they've been able to adjust with things. So I mentioned before that we have Orca cards in the city that allow for people to ride in van pools for free. In King County Metro, of course, people have been teleworking a lot, or current van pools are getting broken up, or people don't want to carpool, all for social distancing reasons. But King County Metro right now is allowing as few as 2 people to ride in a van to allow for that social distancing, someone in the front seat, someone in the very back. So I think that's a great example of ways that we can keep doing some of these sustainability initiatives and allow for some adaptation with it too.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, next question. What are some examples of how a business can tie in sustainability practices with real world economic and social concerns? So a little bit, Tom hinted towards that direction earlier, but I know that a lot of us feel with all of the disposables that we're utilizing right now, there's a lot of waste. So is there anything we can do in that area? Who would like to start? Anybody have any?
I can go ahead
any
and
comments
start.
there?
Sure. I know in Issaquah, you may have heard of the Issaquah Loyal, which is a buy local campaign that we're starting up. And more is going to be coming out about it very soon. But this is an initiative kind of in response to what's been happening with the global pandemic and an economic crisis, in order to encourage both residents and businesses to start to buy local more. So there's definitely environmental benefits with this, in that, you know, reduced emissions from transportation of products, possibly less packaging as well if people are able to go get it rather than get large shipments. So that's a really exciting campaign that's starting to come out and will be promoted more soon.
That's great. When do you expect that implemented, Megan? What's our target date?
It's in the next few weeks. I know they're meeting on it now, so.
And we'll stay tuned for more information.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. Seeing a lot of Amazon trucks in my neighborhood would be great to see less of those. Maybe. Okay. Anyone else have anything you want to add to that question?
Yeah, I'll add. I think that when we're talking about tying in social concerns, we also need to use a climate justice lens. And so that's shifting the conversation from talking about waste or greenhouse gas emissions to really talking about those who are impacted to the most when we're talking about climate. And that's those people that are vulnerable, people who are traditionally living in communities of color. They are impacted the most from things like pollution and other injustices. So we need to focus our conversations around climate justice. And so I think it's important for local organizations to bring in subject matter experts on these topics. There are organizations, there's 350 Eastside, Got Green, Sunrise Movement, having them in for a lunch and learn or something, maybe a virtual lunch and learn. I think that could really help your business and your employees understand these topics better.
That's great. Amber, if you could send me those connections, I'll make sure I that to everybody at the end of the call when I send the slide deck out. Great, thank you. Okay, question number 4, and this was alluded to earlier by Nina when she asked about the status of the Recology store, but what can a business do to reduce waste from suppliers? Items like styrofoam, packing peanuts, bubble wrap, so things that are coming into the supply stream. What are some suggestions there?
I can start. I'd say this isn't really a good time now to emphasize that with suppliers too much, because suppliers have the same keeping their business alive challenges that all businesses do. But in a year maybe, or whenever you think it makes sense, you can tell your suppliers that reducing waste is a priority. Just make it clear to them that's a main priority for your business, and see what they can offer you as their that works for them. Maybe reducing packaging or something like that. Just tell them it's a priority. See what they can do for you. And if you have an example of wasteful packaging that you think they're using, that you can demonstrate, show, or tell them that problem with specifics. And then many suppliers, and I believe we've had this experience with Keeney's Office Supplies, for example, they will be very responsive and try to reduce packaging, and other suppliers. Amazon even is working on this.
Yes, excellent. I think Brooke alluded to this. Oh, sorry, I was going to add one thing. I think Brooke alluded to Styrocycle earlier, that does have drop-off right now at their Kent facility. But another thing is Trex, which accepts plastic film. So, even I know during this time, people are, or businesses are getting, larger bulk products, maybe a lot more kind of that plastic film that you can't recycle, the grocery bag type thing, the case over wrap. So businesses can have a different bin for that sort of product, and then have relationships with companies like Trex to recycle that.
And all Third Styro Recycle, we use them on our campus. They actually come and do pickups on our campus. So if you're a large enough business, you can get a box, and it's only like $70 per pickup, so it's not too much. Another company that I've heard of is called Ridwell, and I know they do home pickups. So if you have items at your home that are hard to recycle, they can come pick those up. I don't know if they do business pickups, but they might if you reach out.
Ridwell is for a fee, and I'm not sure which Issaquah and Eastside communities they serve, but it's you have to pay, I believe, a monthly subscription fee, and I believe it's just for residents, and it might possibly be for some businesses in their area, but it's definitely for a fee, which many residents and businesses aren't willing or financially able to do. But Ridwell is a legit operation. But you have to pay for it. And it's tough to really be sure that the recycling chain is working now, and it's so even the big hauling companies and working with the recycling processors, they from day to day it changes about whether where their materials are going and how they're being handled, and so I'm a little reluctant to promote a lot of recycling collection right now with all the uncertainty because of the virus. But for some things I think it makes sense, but for others it might not, both related to the virus and the problems with recycling markets with China's ban on many types of plastics and paper, mixed plastics and mixed paper. So to really, I just, and I think everyone in the call has mostly been doing this, but I think it's good to remember that we don't want to, as far as promoting recycling to the public, we don't want to promise what we can't deliver, promoting recycling to the public or businesses.
And so in that vein, I think it's important that you reach out to any company that you're working with and specifically ask those questions, because I think it'd be a little short-sighted to just ignore recycling as a whole right now. I do think that if you have those conversations, you can kind of dig to the bottom of it. And as a business or as a company, I think it's worth doing an annual, biannual, however frequent you'd like to do it, an audit of those types of chains, visiting their company, talking through it, as I said. One thing that we did with our students was we took them to Cascade Recycling Center to actually see how recycling was done there. And I think that was very eye-opening for the students, and I think it could be eye-opening for any business.
That's great. Yeah, I know if you ever get a chance to go down to the Recology, the MRF, where they do all the recycling there, that's quite an interesting tour. And hopefully they're still holding that. I don't know if Brooke has, she can give us a thumbs up if that's a tour that people can take, but it would be an interesting tour for a team building experience.
Yeah,
okay,
we do.
Next question. Here's some, oh, go ahead, Brooke.
We do give free tours. Right now they're on hold, but we can, if your business is interested, we can put you on a list, and when we resume, we can reach out.
Excellent. All right. Okay, what are some tips for waste reduction in the area of facility maintenance? Let's talk about facility maintenance a little bit.
I can start.
Who would like to start?
I can start. So I think it's important that you meet with your custodial maintenance staff and actually do a walkthrough with them. Obviously, it might be a bit more difficult in this day right now, but having that walkthrough can show you some of the challenges that they're facing and maybe some of the things that you missed when you were kind of going over your waste programming or your thought process. So really sitting down with those people who are on the ground and understanding what they go through on a day-to-day basis can help your waste programming.
And
I would agree. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that's a great point, and I think for businesses in Issaquah that just decide to do that, they can be thinking about what sorts of materials they're generating a lot of waste of, and it's possible they might be putting in trash now, but there might be a better source for it. And again, as Brooke mentioned earlier, Recology is happy to help kind of provide that technical assistance side to find out if there is a better place for it to go. And we alluded to this earlier, but again, the paper towel composting, I think, is a great, easy thing to be able to implement in buildings that would reduce waste.
And I would add, hire supervisors that will make this a priority, reducing waste in the area of facility maintenance. Hire supervisors that will make this a priority when possible, and let supervisors and staff know that waste reduction is a priority. But still, right now, and maybe all the time, waste reduction related to facility maintenance might have to be like a third priority for businesses, with safety first and cost efficiency second. So it can't be at the top, but after those are handled, then that's something that that you can work on.
On that note, I think it is important to make sure you incorporate a sustainability question into your hiring practices. I know that whenever I'm serving on a hiring panel, I make sure that I have at least one sustainability question in the mix so that I can get that understanding when I am hiring somebody, if they would take that into consideration.
And that's a great segue to my next question. So we know that's attractive. A lot of our, our companies, our local companies are doing things that are waste reduction, and that's attractive to a prospective hire. And also for employee retention, people want to feel good about the place that work. They want to do the right thing, and they want to be aligned with companies that think that way. We know there's only one chance for a first impression. What can a business do to send an environmentally conscious message on their website and outside of their business? So as that first impression, what are some ideas there?
I would just say all the usual old sayings and truisms apply. Walk the talk, be honest, don't be phony, and don't promise what you can't deliver.
I would also like to add that if I could.
Sure.
When I walk into a business, and if they have, the 3 cans, the compostable, the garbage, and the recycling, and it's clearly laid out what goes into each bin, I think this is my kind of place. And I also like now, especially because of COVID, the companies that have the garbage can by the bathroom door on the inside and another one on the outside, so that people that don't choose to use the handle without a towel can have a place to put it. Mm-hmm. It tells me that they care about my health, and it also tells me that that they care about the environment when they have the 3 clearly labeled. There's a company that we all know and love, Frequently, and their products, this part goes in this thing, and this part goes in that thing, and this part goes in this thing. It's so confusing that I wish that they would just get their product so that when you throw it out, you throw it all out in the compostable or all out recyclable, but having to be taken apart. And I watch people, and it's almost a comedy show because people are really trying to do the right thing, and then look at the chart and back again. So that doesn't tell me you care about me if you're going to spend 5 or 10 minutes figuring out how you take your thing apart so I can properly dispose of it. So I think that tells a lot about a company.
Yes, I second what Councilmember Lambert is saying with Issaquah residents. Again, environment is always on the mind. So when they walk in a business, they definitely recognize those things. Another idea is some sort of program like the EnviroStar programs. That is a kind of a business certification program. There used to be a lot in the various cities in King County, and they've kind of all gone into this one-stop shop now that offers a framework and technical assistance to get your business certified, and it's kind of a stamp of approval that you can promote out. Also, as a city, we really like to help share your story. So if you are doing something, we'd love to help promote that either in a newsletter or social media. There's a new office building going up in town right now that is using cross-laminated timber, which is a really exciting new building product. It's made out of wood. It's prefabricated wood engineered. It's really durable, strong, and has environmental benefits. It's been used in Europe for many years and other parts of the world, and is starting to be used more and more in the US right now. It's also fire resistant and earthquake proof. So it's something that we haven't seen a lot of, and since it's going to be in Issaquah, we're going to be really excited to help share that story. So if you have your own success story, then please reach out.
I also wanted to add for Council Member Kathy that before you got on the call, Kathy, there was a great mention of that concept that you described of having the bins together, and that was in I believe Brooke's description with the Recology. Maybe it was Megan's, but it was a picture, and there are some strong efforts being done by Recology and others to do that making recycling easy, having the bins, the recycling and garbage and compost all together. So thanks all for that.
I would just like to end with, I agree with the certification comment that Megan made. There are many certifications you can get as a business. There's Salmon Safe certification, bicycle friendly business certification, LEED and WELL certification for buildings, and you can even look into becoming a B corporation. So those are things that you can do to show to your customers that you're really caring about these areas.
That's great. I think also having just a bike rack at your business, showing that people have the option to bike to work and that they're doing the salmon friendly trip. If you're local here in Issaquah, I think those things speak loudly as well. Okay, anything else to add on that note? Okay, I'd like to open it up for questions from the group. So if anybody has a question for any of our panelists or Expo presenters, now would be a great time to ask those questions. Any
the latest on recycling? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
What's the latest on recycling fluorescent lights?
The latest on recycling fluorescent lights. Who would like to answer that?
You can schedule a pickup if it's like residential, and normally you would be able to drop those off at
right.
the Recology store. Yeah, but
there seems
not
to be
at the moment.
It's for us because we use a lot of them now. We're getting remodeled, and but even when those things go out, it just seems like you can take them to the transfer station, I think in Kent, but they only allow 10 at a time, and you know we probably have 10 every 15 square feet, I would think, or 15 feet. So there's no place to really recycle them, like collect a whole bunch of them and bring them somewhere, correct?
I think that might be true, especially now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry.
And the store is limiting to residential collection, correct? It wouldn't be from commercial buildings.
No, so it's only for residential addresses. So you have to be a customer like at your home in order to drop off at the Recology store.
So for our business community then, let's say when we're back to somewhat normal, what would be the best place for LED, fluorescent lights, those kinds of things?
I would say search. This isn't a great answer, but the best way to get to it would be to search King County fluorescent light recycling, and there are some pages there, the King County hazardous waste management program. You can find some information there. Anyone on this call with questions like that, specifics, can always contact me directly, and I will try to hunt up an answer for you. That would be something. And maybe Brenda can get out my contact information and everyone's, but tom.watson@kingcounty.gov is my email. You can also call my work number that I'm answering working from home directly here, 206-477-4481. And I will try to get that information for you. There is the light recycle program for fluorescent bulbs, but it's mostly for residents, and there are so the transfer stations and some other locations, businesses, small businesses may be able to take up to 10 at a time, as John mentioned. But other than that, I would have to do some research, or you might want to just try and do that research yourself by going to that King County site. But I'd be glad to help anyone with that if you like. So, so John or anyone, you can contact me about that later if you like.
Well, our Michelle Banks, who I mentioned earlier, is quite the environmental warrior, and that was the best she could come up with. So we wound up taping together in groups of 10, and then whenever we're delivering hay that way, we pack along some 4-foot fluorescent lights.
Well, that's a real creative, and thank you for going to that trouble. And I'm sorry it's that hard. There's just a lot of challenges with recycling, especially the hazardous items and the different items. So thank you. And the county and others are trying to make that easier, but it's tough, especially now.
It is.
Okay, what other questions do we have for our group today?
Real quick, I always get questions about recycling batteries and whatnot, and I know the InterConnection does some recycling of batteries, but sometimes I'll even refer them to the Northern Transfer Center over here in Fremont, and I'm just wondering, like, if that's the best place to refer someone to, like the Northwest Transfer Center or something like that, or if there's a specific company that works with just recycling all kinds of different batteries.
That's another really tough one, like lights, especially now, and you can go to our website, or I can try to help and research that individually, but it's something that we get questions on all the time at King County, and there are some challenges finding the businesses, seeing if they're still operating at this time, making sure things haven't changed, the type of batteries, there's just a lot of issues. I do some work actually on internal recycling in the office building where my office used to be, King Street Center in downtown Seattle. And we use a vendor, so here's one example I can give. There is a company called All Battery. I think it's All Battery Solutions in Everett. And they have a good reputation, and we've been very, very happy with them. They go by all the regulations and the audits and everything, and we pay them a fee to pick up batteries from some of our King County locations. So that would be one vendor. For rechargeable batteries, there might be programs where you could even send them in by maybe even postage paid through the Call to Recycle cell phone and battery recycling program. Amber's nodding her head. So
I've used them before, yeah.
Work with them. So those would be two options. So there might be a few, but it's challenging now. But now that I think of it, actually, All Battery would not be a bad choice if you're willing to pay. And they make runs. They sell batteries. They're also interstate battery sales. And so when their trucks from Everett come down all through King County delivering batteries, they are also picking up batteries for recycling. And they take them back to their plant in Everett and sort them into the different chemistries and get them recycled. So they would be a battery recycling vendor that I would recommend, All Battery in Everett.
Lily, do you know if Batteries Plus is doing recycling for at their stores?
Yeah, batteries plus we work with Northgate, which we have a pickup coming up with them very soon here, and Everett will still go up to Everett and do the batteries plus recycling, and they just collect individual computers and just miscellaneous electronics. I don't know how many batteries we get from them. I don't think that,
Okay.
yeah, it's just mostly miscellaneous electronics.
I'll contact the Bellevue Batteries Plus store in Victoria and find out if they take batteries, and I'll include that in the show notes here when I send it out to everybody.
It's
So you'll
possible.
know, because that's a more local location.
It's possible that they might be working with all battery in Everett also.
Yeah, I'll find out, and then you'll know where to take them. Okay, any other questions for our panelists before we wrap up? Okay, I have a couple things to give away today, and again, I wanted to thank our sponsors, The Grange, thank you, John, and Sunrise Senior Living. And what I wanted to know, I have a couple of announcements real quick, and then we'll do something fun here. We have an event coming up called Searching for Salmon. That's starting this Sunday, July 12th. It's a green, environmentally carbon reduced event. There's nothing to do with anything except getting out and enjoying our local businesses. So you can go onto the Chamber's website, IssaquahChamber.com, and see the local participating businesses. You can go to the business and find a salmon. There's a salmon hidden there. There will be one at the Grange. And you can find salmon, take a picture of that, and upload it to the Chamber's website. There's also some trivia questions you can answer about our local businesses for some extra challenge and prizes given out. And that's a week-long event that starts this Sunday and goes through the 18th of July. So that's one thing we're doing. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is our Regional Business Summit. That's happening on September 10th. And that was an event that we did last year, well attended. It was a meeting of the minds for all of our local business owners, general managers, CEOs, and really just addressing the questions and the hot topics that are on their minds. And that will be virtual or partially virtual event on September 10th this year. So go ahead and put that in your calendar. Local experts will be engaging in conversations that can help us lead us to recovery and back to a thriving community, be inspired and empowered at this event. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and give a couple things away today. So who has a birthday closest to today? Anyone have a birthday this week or last week or next week? Anyone have a birthday in July? Speak up if you're on mute, let me know. Okay. How about a birthday in June? How about August? We gotta have a birthday in this group. Anyone have a summer birthday? No? September? Okay, all right. I have another way to hand this out. So the ninth person that, today's the ninth person that signed up for this event was Lily Ortolan. So Lily, you're gonna win this beautiful t-shirt that is being donated by Issaquah Highlands Council. So Nina Milligan will go ahead and I'll connect her with you after the call and she'll be able to send that out to you.
Ooh.
Next time I'll procrastinate.
And if anyone else is interested in this shirt, I'm going to put Lindsay's email in the chat thing and you can reach out to her and you can buy them and she'll direct you. But Lily, congratulations. I'll talk to you afterwards and hook you up with your shirt. And then if anybody else is interested in a shirt, you can just contact Lindsay.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for their participation today. I'm going to follow up by sending out the show notes and the slide deck so you'll have contacts and resources. I hope this was beneficial. I feel like it's a meeting of the minds here. We did record this event so we can share it on YouTube and in the future for others that would like to revisit this information. So thank you everyone for your time today and we appreciate it. All right, thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for being here.